Welcome everybody, Christina Wolf here, and welcome to the new moon card pool party and energy update for Sunday, January 6, 2019. This is a very exciting card pool party because last night, January 5th, we had a partial solar eclipse, and for the full moon on January 21st, we're going to have a total lunar eclipse in Leo. What does this mean, right? So I'm going to give everybody a few seconds to pop on. I'm going to invite some people. Sorry I came on a few minutes late, but we're here nonetheless. Welcome. If you're just coming on, say hi. Let me know if you'd like a card. There's a couple people who asked me to pull a card for them because they can't make it live. So I'll be doing that. I'm going to use, I got really good feedback from my Isis Oracle cards. And for some reason, Isis is really talking to me during this eclipse season. So I'm going to be using Isis Oracle. So, of course, our regular group reading using the Herbal Tarot and our spirit animals. But if you'd like an Oracle card, I'm going to pull an Isis card for you, okay? And let me see if anyone else wants to pop on here. So, as we're waiting, I'm going to see if let me light up my smudge here and my incense. Welcome. If you're just coming on, say hi. Hello, Anime. Let me know if you want a card, if you're going to stay. So I'm lighting up my smudge here. This is sweetgrass, cedar, tobacco, and white sage. So which card would you like? I have 3 decks that I'm pulling from. Herbal Tarot, Animal Spirit, or my Isis Oracle, which I'm really getting a lot of good feedback about that. Let me know which one you like. This smudge is like, you can smell the tobacco. It's really good. I'm going to see if a few more people pop on here before I get started talking about the eclipse last night and what this period between the new moon and the full moon means for us. There we go. Let me send some smoke your way, cleanse you and everybody. A little bit of tobacco goes a long way. All right. All right, so Anime, I'll pull you an Isis card. A bit of a list here going. So, as I'm writing down everybody's names, Anime. That's an Isis card. Okay, good. All right, I got all that down. All right, so what does this mean? The partial solar eclipse. What are eclipses anyway? I was a little confused, and so I had to look into it myself, and I'm still a little bit confused. But the moon has things called nodes. It has, yay, Michelle, you made it, woohoo! It has a north node when it's its strongest, and its south node when, I don't want to say it's weakest, but it's more like the shadow side of it. And right now, this solar eclipse is where the moon eclipses the sun in its south node. So basically the moon in the north node, let's pretend this is a diagram. This is the north node, right? And it's going around the Earth, and if it's over here in the front, it's in the south node, right? And then it comes back around. Well, we're over here in the front. We're having a solar eclipse of the moon in the south node while in the sign of Capricorn. What does that even mean, right? So, and by the way, while the moon is over here in the south node, its north node, like where it would have been over here, is in the sign of Capricorn. Not Capricorn, Cancer. So this eclipse is on what's called the Capricorn-Cancer axis. And that's significant, and I'll tell you why in a few seconds. I'm still understanding the nodes myself and what they all mean. But during a solar eclipse, basically, here's the sun, and the moon passes in front of it, right? So we have a partial solar eclipse. So not all the moon's going to get covered or eclipsed by the moon. So it just sort of looks like a chunk, like a little chunk of cheese came out of the sun, right? But why is this significant during a new moon? Well, a new moon is when the moon is on the other side of the Earth and it's not visible in the night sky. So it's dark. But this season, this eclipse season, illuminates what would normally be a dark moon. So that little chunk of cheese that's, you know, covering it and like taking a chunk out of it, that's really us being able to see the new moon where we couldn't see it before, because it's not visible. But the only way it's visible is we're kind of seeing the shadow of it as it crosses over the moon, or I'm sorry, the sun. Kind of confusing, but has like really powerful, significant, energetic influences, effects, consequences. Solar eclipses are very, 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 very powerful. The lunar eclipse, not as powerful, but still significant. Solar eclipses create a lot of shift and change in the collective. Solar eclipses affect what happens kind of on the outside world, the world stage. Whereas the lunar eclipse is more about the subconscious collective, like what's going on the inside, where we don't really know what's in the shadow self, and more about the individual journey. So a solar eclipse, lots of crazy stuff happened on solar eclipse. One, Jesus was crucified during a solar eclipse. Another significant event that happened during a solar eclipse was, you can Google it, it's common knowledge, but beginnings of World War I, Princess Diana dying on a solar eclipse. And so I'll be interested to see what significant historical event comes of this solar eclipse. Hey Kimberly, welcome. Let me know what kind of card you want. I am pulling from my Isis cards today. And if you're just popping on, let me know if you want a card as well. I see a couple more people on here. So let me put you down, Kimberly, because I know you want a card. So we're talking about the eclipses and why they're significant. And we're in a solar eclipse during this new moon. And the new moon is being illuminated by the sun. So kind of, if you go back to December when we had a full moon during the winter solstice is the darkest night of the year. And we have a full moon to illuminate the darkest night of the year. That was significant, right? So now, here we are in the new moon when the sky's supposed to go dark, but we see it anyway with this solar eclipse because the sun is silhouetting the moon as it's crossing over it, right? Even if it's just a little bit, it's a partial one. It's not a full total eclipse, right? When there's eclipses, they always come in pairs. So we have this solar eclipse. We're going to have a lunar eclipse in about 2 weeks, again, on the full moon, January 21st. It's the full moon in Leo. We had a whole bunch of eclipses in Leo back in 2018, which was a rare event because they had 3 eclipses, if you remember, in August 2018. That was the solar eclipse in Leo. And so this lunar eclipse in Leo coming up in the 21st of January is going to be the last of the Leo, I think it's Pluto axis, meaning, remember I talked about the nodes? If the north node is up here in one sign, like say Leo, then the south node will be down here in the other one. So right now, this solar eclipse, we've got the north node in Cancer and the south node in Capricorn. What is the significance of a Capricorn-Cancer axis? I think it's, by the way, this axis is going to happen again because eclipses come in seasons. So we're in eclipse season for January 2019, and we're going to have another season come July. July is what? The sun sign of Cancer. So then the north node will be in Capricorn and the south node will be in the sun will be in Cancer. It just swaps, okay? So this axis, Capricorn, Cancer, is going to be the theme for 2019. What is this theme, right? This is the theme of Capricorn is all about structure, duty, doing what you're supposed to, the law, the authoritative father figure, well, I'd really like to do, and, you know, dad going, you're not going. That's Saturn. Saturn has a kind of a reputation for being what's called a malevolent influence. Jupiter, one of the biggest ones, is called the big benevolent in our solar system, meaning it's not literally evil good, it's expansion versus contraction. So Saturn is a contracting energy. So Cancer is a nice, watery, loving, nurturing kind of sign, and it's ruled by the moon, which is representative of the mother, right? The divine feminine, and we've got Cancer, Capricorn over here, Saturn representing the father, divine masculine. So it's all about finding the balance of the inner divine masculine and the inner divine feminine. And I like to think of it as everyone's setting up new Year's resolutions. This particular new moon, which is the time to plant seeds of intention, which is why I did a ceremony for this, is all about, it's very powerful. It's very augmented because solar eclipses basically intensify the energy of the new moon. And the new moon in Capricorn is all about setting new habits, letting go of what doesn't work, kind of doing what's for your highest good. And yet there's its shadow side, the Cancer, which is all about nourishing the self. And, you know, think of loving mom and authoritative dad. You're going to have a balance going on there of what do I need to do? I need to balance my responsibilities with my nourishment of self. And that's totally the theme for 2019. For me, it's perfect because it's in alignment with my intentions to marry the inner divine masculine and divine feminine. What does that even mean? Everyone has inner masculine, inner feminine, but if one's out of balance, then you tend to have dysfunction in your life. The patriarchy as a collective is an imbalance of the divine masculine, divine feminine. We're going to see a lot of like kind of a pendulum swinging. We're not going to go to a matriarchy, which is basically like just the opposite of, you know, divine masculine doesn't matter, we're going to take over and dominate. We're not doing that. But in order to bring it into balance, here's the patriarchy way over here, really, really like excessively imbalanced, and it's coming into full swing, going back over. And it may need to kind of swing this way a little bit. That's why we're seeing a lot of people very forcefully pushing their feminine agenda and whatever, which, you know, whatever's your thing. But the goal is to come back into balance, where now in the new paradigm, the goal is sacred union, which is what Jesus, the man sometimes referred to as Yeshua, him and Mary Magdalene's relationship was all about the sacred union, instead of the patriarchy way over here, like the man shall dominate, masculine rhetoric will dominate. It's not very cut and dried anymore, but there's no more suppression of the feminine. We're seeing that a lot in our culture. The Me Too movement, we're seeing it a lot with all these underrepresented minority groups and women being elected to Congress. It's amazing how many were elected Native Americans. I believe we have a Muslim woman. Many more are being represented in the collective, in the culture, the energy of the divine feminine. And so that's sort of, I don't want to talk about politics or anything specifically, other than to show how it brings us evidence of the shift in the energy. Okay, Trump being like, oops, way over here in the patriarchy, right? He's representative of like values of the old paradigm that needs to go. Really, a lot of people are in an uproar about it. And then there's people who are not wanting to let it go along with him. And there's the people swinging the bat way over here to the divine feminine, really pushing hard for the feminine agenda, right? So we want to come somewhere in the middle. That's our goal for 2019. Come in the middle, meet in the middle, be in peace, be in love, be in union. That is the idea. That is the goal. Now, how do we do this? We do this through working on ourselves. So what would this look like for you if you're stuck in the Capricorn Cancer axis this year? Well, could be an over obligation to work versus nourishment of self. I really feel, for me, I was very much stuck over here in masculine thinking. And this year I basically intended, this is my year of radical self-love, self-nourishment, doing the thing that I decide to do, create new habits, which is very Capricornish, create new habits, very Saturnine, what you do in your daily, structure, things that create a new way of being for you. That's what Capricorn's asking you to do, but do it in a way that's based on self-nourishment, not self-discipline. This is why I think many of us fail at our New Year's resolutions or new habits or whatever, because we're trying to force it instead of it being something that we invest in on a daily basis. What does this look like? Well, example, maybe you need to exercise more, but instead of like forcing yourself to get up and do it and punish yourself into a new routine, you're doing it with this open heart, this very nourishing, feminine way of being, like embodiment of like, I really want to enjoy being in my body and I need to move this stagnant energy in my body. And you start gentle and you start small and you do it as a nourishing activity for yourself. Kind of like, instead of sitting on the couch eating, popcorn and watching Netflix, you decide, I'm going to do, about 15 minutes of yoga every morning. That's my new nourishment routine. That's how you set new routines based on self-nourishment instead of self-discipline. And I guarantee you're going to stick with it a whole lot better. So one last thing we're going to have coming up is, hey, Christy, welcome. All right. So I see Christy. I'm going to check these comments here real quick. Christy, Michelle would like a card. Michelle Whitaker. All right, so we got Michelle Lewis, Michelle Whitaker. And then Jessica, I don't know if Jessica's still on with us. Let me know if you want a card. All right. Okay, so here we are. We've got the new paradigm coming up. Don't be daunted by it. It's not daunting. It should feel nourishing. It should feel great. It should feel like woohoo, like a whole empty garden of rich soil that I get to plant my seeds of intention in. And what do you want those seeds to be? They should be the thing that you are, while you're forcing yourself to do something because you think it's going to make you get to a certain energetic place, you know, like I'll feel better and more loving towards myself if I exercise and get in shape and whatever. Feel into the exercise, get in shape. What's the end result? That loving, nurturing feeling towards yourself, feeling of satisfaction. Aim towards putting into your self-nourishment bank account to get to that place. Instead of punishment, it's self-nourishment. Okay, so I think I beat that with a dead horse. So like a dead horse. So anything else I'm supposed to mention here? Yeah, and don't forget, we're going to be having a revisit of the eclipses in July. We'll have the solar eclipse then and a lunar eclipse in July in Cancer and Capricorn reversed. This period between the solar eclipse last night and the partial or the total lunar eclipse on January 21st, this period of time in between is like really powerful. Okay, it's when we interrupt the Earth's magnetic field and we get lots of downloads and uploads from deep space, the mysteries of the universe. They come in. You may feel a huge up-leveling. Like me and my son were both very intuitive. We both had like a horrible headache yesterday. You may feel some of that like ascension symptoms, like some pressure, some angstiness, not maybe wanting to sleep more. In regards to sleep, dreams, I've had like some very vivid dreams the last couple nights. Notice your dreams, write them down. A lot of them are very prophetic or have deep meaning for you right now. Give in and indulge into the urge to rest more. Your body's up leveling on a cellular level. So take care of yourself in those ways. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna set this aside here. Take a sip of water, check the card or the chat, see if anyone else wanted a card. All right. Oh, hey Crystal, welcome. Thank you. I get so many compliments on this background. And let me tell you, I got it for like maybe $10, $15 on wish.com of all things. So, but you can get it on Amazon as well. But I like it. It represents to me the deep mystical forest of our unconscious, the spirit realm. So, yes. All right. And if you guys have not seen the replay of the renewing ceremony, I have it listed in the group. That's my gift to you. Please feel free, if you'd like, to donate to the cause. There's a PayPal link in there. It's not required, but it does help me, you know, pay for Zoom, pay for, you know, little basics, buying new cards, that sort of thing. So thank you for anyone who wishes to donate. I appreciate it. So let's open up some sacred space. And we'll call in the four winds. To the winds of the east, we call you in. This is the place of the rising sun, fire element, spirit of eagle. We call you in. This is the void. This is the place for which Raven sends all of his messages from the void, the deep mysteries of the universe. We thank you, spirit of eagle, for giving us the bird's eye view, for helping us to hone our senses and what we need to focus on, to take the high road, but to also know what we need to deal with clarity and focus. We thank you so much. This is the springtime of our life. This is the new moon of our life. This is the beginning, the generative energy of the universe. This is the place of our father's father's lineage, and we welcome all of our well ancestors. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Oh. To the winds of the south, we call you in, spirit of snake. This is earth energy, earth element. Spirit of snake, we thank you so much for showing us how to shed old skin, how to travel humbly close to Mother Earth. This is the summertime of our life. This is the youth of our life. This is when we're in full bloom. And we thank you for showing us how to be the full moon of our life, right? Where we are bringing all of our gifts and creative energy out to the world. This is the place of our father's mother's lineage, and we welcome all of our well ancestors. Thank you. Oh. And we welcome in the winds of the west. This is the place of the setting sun, the place of letting go. It's a great time to do this right now at the end of 2018 into 2019. We welcome the spirit of jaguar, spirit of whale, spirit of all the water creatures. This is water element, our emotions, our subconscious. This is the place of our adulthood of our life, where we harvest the lessons of rites of passage. And we thank you so much for showing us how to let go gracefully and be like the setting sun. This is the place of our mother's lineage, and we welcome all of our well ancestors. Welcome. Thank you. Aho. And to the winds of the north, this is the place of all of our ancestors and ancestral lineages, the healing lineages of the Carol Indians, First Nation Indians, the Druids, the Celts, the shamans of Siberia, Tibetan monks, all the ancient Chinese medicine men and women. We welcome all of the ancient healing lineages, and we welcome all of our well ancestors. This is the space of the ancient ones, spirit of buffalo, elk, caribou, and spirit of hummingbird. This is the air element. This is where we go within. This is the nighttime of our life, the winter of our life, our elder stage, becoming the wise old crone or the wise old man. And we welcome the wisdom of our ancestors to help us to remember who we are and to where we will soon prepare to return to. We thank you. This is the place of our mother's father's lineage, and we welcome all of our well ancestors. Thank you. Oh. And as always, to Mother Earth, Pachamama, Gaia, the living mother, we thank you so much for all that you give to us, and we can only hope to give back what you give to us. You sustain us in your beautiful energy, your life-giving air, water, earth of your body. So many sustainable living things that give us life. We thank you so much. And we hope that we all learn to love and respect you as we need to. Now to Father Sky, we thank you so much for the mysteries of the universe, for the space above, for the space below, for the space within, the space without, the place of dark matter, the Sophia Pistis consciousness. We thank you for a place where thoughts become things. And we thank you for the star nations, places that we are still yet discovering, who may be watching over us in benevolence. We thank you so much. And to Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun, thank you so much for doing your dance of time and showing us how to mark time. We thank you so much. I personally call in my spirit guides, Spirit of Wolf, and my other spirit guides that help me. In particular, Goddess Isis, I feel your energy lately to help us with learning the divine feminine. And to of course, all the plants and animals that offer us their medicine. So let's get started. All right. Let's see what we got. Yes. Let me check one little thing here. So as I'm pulling these cards, we're going to do a group reading with 4 cards total. First card's going to be what we need to let fade out of our existence or our sphere of influence. And then the second card will be what's growing within me? What kind of seeds do I want to plant? What do I need to bring forth to the world? Because we're using the waxing energy of the new moon, right? Which is, remember, very powerful this time with the solar eclipse. So also be careful what you're asking for, because manifestation right now is very powerful. Stay mindful of what you're thinking. And then we'll ask, what can I commit to create going forward? And lastly, the overall energy of this time period, which I think will be very powerful. All right. What can I let fade out of my influence? What idea is growing within me? And what can I commit to create going forward? What kind of energy do I need to be in to do all of this? All right. 7 of Swords. We got some air energy here going on. Wood betony. That's the herb. It's kind of blurred out, but wood betony is the herb. Let me look that up here. So 5 swords are flying through the air. It indicates thoughts that are ungrounded, elusive, and changeable. Only some of the information is at hand, thus 2 swords are in the ground. No person is visible, which indicates that confrontations are being avoided, or that there are hidden intentions. There can be a sense that things are too changeable and confusing to bother about. Okay, so I'm guessing that right now some people are kind of like, I don't even know what to ask for. I don't know what sort of intentions to set because I feel really ungrounded. I feel like Sandra Bullock in that space movie she was in where her tether broke and she's now spinning like with constant inertia out in outer space and has no way to stop, really. And when you're in that place, that untethered place, the way you find your grounding is within, right? You find your true north within. So understand that we may not have all of the information. Most of the time we don't. And whatever we're basing our decisions on is our projection into our reality, like what we think we need to do. I had a few of these instances this past week with, things at work where I was thinking like, hey, why is this so confusing? There was a lot of clashing of what one person thought the way things should go versus another. Lots of big change. When there's lots of change going on, the changing of the guards, there's lots of that energy. New people are taking over in positions of power. In your own personal life, how does that look for you? Just understand that emotions can get high and you may not have all the facts, and things that you would take personally, it's like the 4 agreements. Don't take anything personally. It's just the other person's projection. And that may be all the stuff going on behind their eye is the missing information. You know, the five swords up here of like, and notice how much more is missing than how much we think we know, which is the little two swords on the ground here. Just remember, like, you have a ton going on in the world behind your eye, which is affecting your projections, what you're bringing to the situation. You know, for me, it was like, hey, no one seems to care what I think, where really I could take the attitude of, hey, no one really cares what I think, and just sit back and not have to worry about it. So that brings me to this other thing where it's talking about hidden intentions. Okay, you may have hidden intentions, hidden agreements, things that you've maybe agreed to that you're doing out of either duty or fear or ego or whatever. Examples. In my previous relationship with my ex-husband, I had a hidden agreement that it was my responsibility to be the mommy manager, because if he didn't do it, I would have to do it. I didn't want that agreement. I don't know how I got signed up for it, and the entire relationship was my resentment of agreeing to a hidden agreement. Look at the areas in your life where you have hidden agreements that you don't agree to. You may make decisions based on that hidden agreement, and you not even realizing that's your motivation for it, right? So remember, when we talked about self-nourishment versus self-discipline, another example, I felt like I wanted to start my own business because, one, yes, I would like to be in more purpose work, more spirit work, doing this meaningful work. But on a deep level, my body really needed rest. And I felt like, oh, this is a more restful way to make money. Well, surprise, it's still work, right? You decide you do it because it's nourishing to you, not because it's a thing you get up and go make money for. These are just examples of hidden agreements. What is your true motivation for what you're doing? Okay, this is what you need to let fade out of your influence. That all the hidden agreements, the things that aren't working for you. By the way, it saves time when you're honest with yourself and others. It's dangerous to lie to yourself, and it's dangerous to make agreements with other people who are having their own hidden agreements. So set the intention that all of your interactions with others be in truth and honesty, right? And primarily with yourself. As long as you are honest with yourself, you can only control your sphere of influence anyway. And you can decide, I don't want to work with this person because they're not being honest. They're not being honest with themselves, and they're choosing not to be honest with me. So this card is saying, pick your intentions well. Pick who you're interacting with well. It may be a good time to do some research or to collect knowledge and ideas from others with regards to the scene at hand. Okay, gather more information. The hardest part is when you gather information, you get a lot of the facts, and you still choose to stay, or you choose to be in a place of what, you know, psychologists call cognitive dissonance. Like, I know what I need to do, but I'm not making that decision. That in and of itself has to do with some more hidden agreements. So that's the theme here, hidden agreements. So be willing to reveal your true intentions, to find out and listen to what others' true intentions are. People show you all the time who they really are. And you're showing who you really are too. You know, if you're always late to something all the time, maybe you really don't want to go. Look for the hidden intention, right? The hidden agreement. Situations like this can wear on your nerves until it is clear as to what is going on. Let me tell you, it is very peaceful when you commit to honesty in your life, okay? This plant has a colorful past, wood betony, and is said to have the virtue of protecting against evil spirits. All right, it was planted in churchyards and worn as an amulet or charm to protect you from fearful visions. You can ask Wood Bethany the essence of it, put it in a little pouch, put it on your person, take a picture of it. Just call upon this herb to protect you from other people's dishonesty, to protect you from your own dishonesty. It can be employed in this fashion, again, to ease the mental anguish and fearful visions one might have when dealing with a Seven of Swords situation. A Seven of Swords situation is, I don't know what's going on. I feel like there's some shady stuff going on here. Or you just don't feel it. People are dealing with you with honesty. So medicinally, Wood Bethany is used as a nervine. Helps you with anxiety. It's anxiety provoking to be in this sort of limbo state. Keywords are not all things are being revealed. Need to be honest with the self and others. Research needed in order to find what is going on. Let me tell you, during this solar eclipse, it's the perfect time to illuminate what is being hidden. So you may have some very powerful shifts going on. Doesn't mean you have to make drastic changes, but you can make drastic energetic changes, okay? What do I mean? As soon as you start operating in a different energetic sphere, situations shift. The other person has to change because you're not interacting in the same way. So with a peaceful heart, I gather information and truth for my plans and goals. Get really clear on what your hidden intentions are, what your hidden agreements are, okay? Take a little sip of water here. All right, that's what we need to let fade out of our influence. I'm gonna check comments here. Yes, hidden agreements were a big hindrance for me as well, Krista. Sometimes that is the work, finding out what it is that I'm really trying to do when I'm doing this. You know, people work their whole lives so they can go sit on the beach after they retire, right? Why can't you sit on the beach now? You know, that's how I feel. Get to the thing. We think everything, it's kind of like Abraham Hicks used to say, everything we do is in hopes that we'll feel better in the doing of it, right? We avoid things because we don't like the way it feels, so we're avoiding so we feel better. We say, screw this and leave a relationship because we think we'll feel better. What is your hidden agreement? What's the thing you really want to do? What's on the other end of feeling better? Okay? Think about that. I know. It'll come to you. Give yourself space and time to let it bubble up to the surface. Kind of like the little magical 8-ball. Yes. No. It'll come to you. Let your intuition bring it to you. Okay? You have to create that space for it. Now, what ideas growing within me? Perfect. The Lovers talk about sacred union, right? Parsley. Anyone cooked with parsley? Parsley has some really good medicinal properties to it. Often a garnish, but has far more powerful qualities than being just a fancy garnish. The Lovers is a major arcana card, which tells me that we're supposed to create long-lasting habits based on the Lovers, right? This is something, you know, like that's potentially a new state of being for you, a new shift in consciousness. The Lovers card, ruled by Gemini, is an expression of the female yin and the male yang elements within each of us. So you can't make this up. We're talking about marriage of divine masculine and divine feminine, right? The female is pointing to the divine inspiration represented by rays of light. The blue river is an extension of the garment from the high priestess and expresses inner knowingness. Okay? That's the Cancer axis, right? The male is the action, fiery, expressive, and reasoning part of the self, Capricorn, very Capricornish. He looks toward his female half to see how the parts of life make up a whole. Okay, I think also this is inviting you to let go of the striving of putting the pieces of the whole together and to let yourself be whole. Okay, last year for me was all about examining early childhood trauma, letting go of the karma of that old story. And now that you're whole, what is healing anyway? The word healing means to make whole, okay? You're already whole, and anything that gets in the way of that is what you need to let go of, okay? Old crap, old feelings, old projections, old stories. This is asking you to be beyond the bitter end, right? You know, who am I now when I'm whole? What do I do? What kind of things, what kind of activities do I do as a healed person, a person at peace, a person who's loving themselves? What sort of embodiment activities do I take care of? You know, maybe I've had sexual trauma and I've never enjoyed being in my body. I don't enjoy sex. I don't enjoy being touched. Where can I add pleasure to my life? Where can I add a sense of being fully embracing who I am? So basically letting go of the story of being broken, being wounded. There's a very long period of Chiron. Chiron is actually a meteorite. It's not really a planet, but it has a lot of influence on us. Chiron went retrograde back into Pisces, which is like the wounded self, right? It's moving back into Aries, which is all about your identity and our sense of who we are. And you can change who you are because of the way you view yourself, what you're projecting, how you're, what you're holding on to, right? And the Lovers is asking you to integrate all the parts of you that don't feel whole, so you can come together and be the whole real self, the divine self, the marriage, the sacred union of the divine masculine and divine feminine. Okay? Now, that means sometimes you take action, sometimes you sit in your inner knowingness, all right? The divine feminine is his inner guide and the uniting intelligence. The uniting intelligence. Together, these two parts plus divine inspiration create beauty, love, and unity in our lives. I find that stress is the thing. Okay, this is sort of a weird analogy, but it's the only way that I can come up with when I talk about getting rid of what you don't want to make space for what you do want. In your cells, in your lungs, the way carbon monoxide works is if you inhale carbon monoxide, it takes up the space where oxygen would be, and it starves your body of oxygen. And that's why you're not able to get in oxygen. And that's how people die, really, when they have carbon monoxide poisoning. The goal is, if, let's say, toxic people, toxic energy, toxic thoughts, stress, those are filling up the space that allow you to feel beauty, to feel relaxation, to feel calm, to get trauma out of the body. If trauma, stress, and all that crap is taking up space in your body, you can't let in the nourishment. So it's your job to let go of that crap this year, right? That's what the Lovers is asking you to do. Get rid of the crap that's getting in the way of you being in sacred union with yourself, right? Okay, Gemini is known as the sign of discrimination, communication, ideas, learning, and adaptability. For true communication to be manifested, we must be willing to be the receptive listener-receiver, or the yin side. What we choose to take in is wholly our decision, okay? When we have porous boundaries, we're just sort of letting in whatever, and it's taking up space for what we want, right? So you get to be discerning. You get to be discerning about the information you receive, the behavior you'll accept, anything, okay? When you become a discerning person and your boundaries are not porous, you can be more free to walk about your world, right? Because you're not worried about being overwhelmed, okay? The Lover's card asks us to be in rapport with the different parts of the self while seeing how each factor interacts. Okay, all these other things, the wounded self, the stories, whatever, they're part of you, but they don't have to hold an emotional charge anymore. They're what makes you wise. They're what makes you who you are. It gives you your gifts of how you can help others heal. This is what you do with this part of you moving forward, right? Through loving allowance for others and ourselves, we can see and create beauty in our lives. Self-nourishment, right? Okay, so parsley. Many times our inner fears cause us to stay close to the healing of the male or female within us and manifest outside ourselves in the form of difficult relationships. Parsley helps to dissolve those solidified feelings and to allow them to flow out of us. So you may want to call on parsley to help you get rid of that difficulty, that space, that chasm between you and the other. And I've been talking a lot about this concept of the divine masculine-feminine marriage, a sacred union, in the new paradigm, as opposed to the old paradigm, which was like the Piscean age, which was when Jesus, the fisherman, came along. That mentality was go out into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights alone, and you'll know yourself. Know thyself, right? That's how you get in union with the divine. Well, the new paradigm, the Aquarian age, is all about this sacred union. You reach the divine through how you relate to the other. And so it's very much a marriage of the first and second chakra, like who you are at your root. And the second chakra, womb wisdom, is all about how your divine creative self relates and honors the other, okay? Through knowledge of self. You have to know who you are to know the other, okay? And sometimes knowing the other helps you know who you are. I know it's a little confusing, but parsley, the element of parsley, the essence of parsley, the medicine of parsley, helps you break down any difficulty, any obstacles to this union. Okay, parsley as an herb naturally grows in rocky soils, and its roots break up hard rocks, just as the herb internally is good for dissolving urinary stones in the bladder and kidneys. Okay, kidney stones, by the way, are hardened pieces of anger. If you're having kidney stones, that sort of thing, it's time to let go of some inner resentment. Another reason why people who are pissed off, they often have urinary tract infections or cystitis. These are how things in the body kind of manifest. Notice where maybe you have chronic ailments. That's where you need to send some love. That's where you need to nourish the self, okay? Your body isn't working against you. It's giving you messages you need, all right? So this is what's growing within you. This idea of nourishing the self, coming together, the divine union, what I was talking about, right, for the new year, and getting rid of obstacles to being whole, okay? Start embodying what's it like when I am fully well and healed. Healed being whole. Healing, the process of healing, means to make whole. The herb can be carried in a pouch to remind the wearer of the unity of the yin yang inside. It will help to loosen up the rigid feelings associated with either gender. Being, if you're feeling really angry at the patriarchy, I was feeling really angry for a while. I had to admit to it. This can help you. Just move some of that crap through you, right? Keywords: magnetism and attraction, relationships, healing the male, female within, okay? I feel love and unity within. And when you feel that within, you can bring that without to all of your relationships as you relate to others. Okay. Now, what can I commit to going forward? Justice. That's perfect, right? The Justice card, another major arcana. Plantain. Plantain is an interesting herb. I use it, okay, let me tell you, when I use plantain, it's to help my sinuses not feel so inflamed. What are sinuses? Sinuses are the space in your body, right? When your sinuses are inflamed constantly or chronically, it's a sign you're thinking thoughts that are inflaming you, okay? Or you're holding on to thoughts, memories, things that are keeping you inflamed, right? That's what you're retaining in the space within you, okay? So let's look at justice. What does justice do? Justice soothes the anger of being wronged, right? Justice emerges out of the dense forest of darkness and confusion, holding the crystal of light in one hand and the scales of balance in the other. This is saying it's time to forgive, because you'll have your own justice, right? It's time to forgive, let go. This is part of that process of making yourself whole, okay? I think a lot of the women in the Me Too movement, they're feeling a lot of justice these days. There's another documentary, I guess is what it's called, on Lifetime now, with the R&B artist R. Kelly, called Surviving R. Kelly. Just another indication of women feeling safe to come out and speak of their injustices. He's basically a predator. And so a lot of these women are talking about their story when they did not feel safe to do so. People will say, well, why didn't they bring this up 30 years ago? Because the energy wasn't conducive 30 years ago. The energy is conducive now. And that's why it's so important to talk about these things now. Get it out now. Okay? Justice. The displayed sword symbolizes the unqualified search for truth. There we are with the hidden agreements. If you're constantly living in dishonesty with self or dishonesty with other, okay, if you're attracting liars into your life, it's because you feel not entitled to the truth, or there's somehow a circle of dysfunction that you've gotten into. Someone's made you feel like a caregiver in the past has made you feel like you'll never get what you need. And so you're going to seek out relationships and people who will give you that feeling everywhere you go. Heal that piece. Go back to your inner child and say, I deserve to be cared for. I deserve to have someone tell me the truth. I deserve to have a loyal, loving partner, right? These are the things you need to be saying to yourself that will eradicate the energy of liars. You'll see the liar from afar and you'll be like, get away from me. You won't dance with them anymore. You don't need to do the dance with them anymore. You don't need to do the dance of someone being dishonest with you, because it's drama for you. You get rid of all the drama of, he's lying, I hate him, why is he lying to me? The stories, the projections. I use he because it's a typical dynamic. Maybe it's your mother. Maybe it's a parent who's never been there for you. Get out of that dance, okay? That's what justice is. Justice is taking care of it yourself, right? So you don't need to do the dance because somehow you had an inner hidden agreement. If I stay tangled up in this drama of trying to seek what I'm never going to get from the other, I don't have to self-actualize because I'm too busy over here. All of my energy is filled up over here with this drama. What is really the hidden agreement here? I'm afraid to be whole. I'm afraid of what it looks like. What does it look like to be whole? What does it look like to have a partner who's loving, to or a parent who's loving? Or what does it look like to not need their approval? What's on the other side? Okay. All right. So justice, ruled by Libra, represents our internal need for equilibrium. When you stop needing the other to bring you equilibrium, that's when you're at peace. Okay? She is the faithful divine mother, preserving us and maintaining our health physically, emotionally, and spiritually. She protects those things which are important to us, and with her sword, she carves off what is useless and worn out. Totally about get rid of that crap. Get rid of the carbon monoxide that's not letting you have nourishing oxygen in your body. Okay? There's no other, I mean, it's just took up space. It suffocates you at the source. You can't even get to allowing and receiving good until you get rid of all the crap that's taken up space, right? So, justice protects those things which are important to us, and with her sword, she carves off what is useless and worn out. Remember that. Protect what is important to you. You get to do that. You matter. You get to do that. Even if it's, hey, this is my time. You know, for me, one of the hardest things was when I had little kids, they would barge in on me when I was in the restroom. Protect that space. Many women don't have pleasure. They don't have relaxation because that space is not protected. You don't feel that you deserve it. You don't feel others should respect it. Maybe your partner isn't on board and doesn't respect it. I have a lot of love and compassion for men because they were trained, they grew up in this paradigm that my needs come first. So if you have a partner who is loving and respectful and supports you, really give them some appreciation, because that's not the norm. A lot of women, in my first marriage, I was constantly having to fight and protect the things that were important to me. Little basic things like courtesy, consideration. Ask yourself, what are you needing to protect? And let it be important to you, okay? Teach other people how to treat you. Okay, so when we're in harmony with these laws, we are protected in all ways. When we're in disharmony, pain and personal discomfort arise. Well, we already know there's those hidden agreements. Well, I'm agreeing to dishonor myself to keep attachment to you. No, because there's another hidden agreement in there. I don't think I'm important enough for someone to love me the way I want. Get to the root of your beliefs and your hidden agreements, okay? Justice teaches us how, through work and action, we can cultivate health for body, mind, spirit by being discriminating in the choices we make for ourselves. Remember, make the choices out of self-nourishment. I'm doing this because I need to. I'm meditating because if I don't, I'm losing precious life force stressing about things. I'm protecting myself in that way, right? She wants us wants to take us toward our innermost joy. There are so many of us who've never tapped into our innermost joy. That's what this year is about. Sacred union with self. Radical self-love, right? Your innermost joy. You get to that space. You can't get to it if it's piled up with stress, drama, nonsense, disrespect, whatever, boundary violations, all of the above. Get rid of the carbon monoxide to fill up with nourishing oxygen. Okay? Justice Plantain can remove irritations such as splinters from the body. Remember, I drink plantain tea to get rid of, if your sinuses are blowing up, you're irritated. Louise Hay would say you're irritated with someone close to you. 9 times out of 10, the closest person to you is your inner thoughts. So if you're constantly staying close to someone who is irritating you, you protect yourself. Protect your thoughts. Protect your inner world. protect your inner being, you get to do that. I had to learn that. I was like open to anything. I would stay and put up with nonsense and, you know, wonder why I'm the one not feeling good in this situation. Everyone else is happy, but I'm upset. Why? Because it's working for them. They're getting what they need out of it, but are you? You get to ask for what you need and get it, right? And somewhere in there, you're also emotionally available to give the other what they need. When you feel filled up and full, you have more to give. So Plantain also is helping with congested thoughts, getting all that crap out of there, right? And fixed ways that will be loosened up and create greater clarity. Through this type of adjustment and rebalancing, a new life can be created. Absolutely. I created a totally different dynamic with my new partner and my youngest child than I had with my ex and my 2 older boys. I'm still working with integrating my 2 older boys into this new, more peaceful way of being. You can do it. That's one of my goals for this year. These are the types of intentions you need to set for this year for yourself. And you know what they are. You know the ones that are pulling you the most out of alignment, the ones that are causing you the most grief, the things that are preventing you from doing what you really want. That's what you need to work on, right? Okay, so what kind of energy do we need to be in? 9 of Pentacles. Dark grapes. Maybe, should we drink more? Drink more wine? No, just kidding. Maybe enjoy ourselves more? 9 of Pentacles. Some earth energy. I think this is saying remind you to be grounded, to stay in the moment, don't get too overwhelmed, take things one moment at a time. Okay? A prosperous woman looks at and touches some plump grapes. Okay? She's fully enjoying the harvest from her past efforts. You did a lot of work in 2018. Give yourself some credit. If you cleared a lot of ancestral trauma, if you cleared a lot of personal karma, give yourself credit. Celebrate it, okay? Although she experiences great pleasure, she's very discriminating as to how she spends her time, money, and energy. We're just talking about this. Protect what is important to you, okay? She didn't get where she is today with frivolous spending and wastefulness, all right? Sometimes you're bleeding out. You're giving out energy in places where you're just, it's hemorrhaging out. Where are you hemorrhaging out energy and having to scramble to get it back? Her great love and passion for her work, whether she's a householder or an executive, has given her a deep sense of peace and security. That's what you're aiming for, right? Peace and security. What's your hidden agreement? Avaricious tendencies must be guarded against, and she must watch that she does not become envious of other situations or belongings. That's not your path, okay? If she should become discouraged because her goals have not yet been attained, then she may need to reevaluate her aims and focus more on the creative process than on the end results or rewards. So if we get too much into the end results, I want this, I want this type of relationship, I want, you know, the bigger house, or whatever story, or etc. Get in the emotion, the feeling place of what it is to have those things. That's how you're going to get to it. Because you're thinking you want this end result because of the way you think it's going to make you feel. Well, how about you just feel that way already? And then we'll see what manifests. She must not invalidate or be unwilling to accept the praise or support that she may receive from the world around her, for this may be some of the prosperity coming towards her. Abundantly is the way that the universe functions. Remember that, okay? Whenever you're in lack, you're going against the natural way of the universe. You're the one preventing letting it in. You filled up. If you're in lack, you're full of what you don't want, and it's a false sense of fullness. You got this much room to allow in what you want when you're full of crap, right? So we're not meant to close ourselves off from whatever abundance nature provides. So stay available for what you really want. When you're getting tangled up in drama, you're getting tangled up in anger, you're getting tangled up in the story of being wounded, you're not available for wholeness. You're not available for healing. You're not available for pleasure, relaxation, peace, inner peace, your innermost joy, okay? Grapes have been written about metaphorically in ancient books and its virtues extolled. This is saying, think of Adonis, the old Greek god, the story of, am I thinking of the right guy? Where he's literally hanging the grapes over him and eating them. You know, he's became known as like excessive debauchery, but grapes are known for abundance and joy and pleasure. And I think this is saying you'll get where you need to go if you do it in search of joy and pleasure, okay? When this card is prominent in a session, the part of the herb that best suits the situation can be used. The root to invoke abundance, the leaf to clear the heat of envy, selfishness, and dissatisfaction, the fruit to fully acknowledge the harvest. So, all parts of the grape will help you with this process of innermost joy. Okay, grapes are a nutritive tonic herb that treats deficiencies of the blood and energy. All right, just call on the energy of grapes. I'd steer clear of drinking too much wine. I think that might be a distraction. But the essence of the leaf or root may be taken in accordance with the energy to be emphasized. So, keywords: enjoying the harvest, discrimination in choices, tendency to be greedy, and a need to be open to abundance. I am open to the abundance that my labor and talents provide. There you go. All right, so that was kind of a lengthy reading. For some reason, there was lots to say. All right, let's get to the individual cards. I'm going to pull one animal card for Bridget. She can be here. And so far I have a card for Maury, who couldn't make it live. Michelle Lewis, you're here. Julie, Bridget, Anime, Kimberly, Christy, and Michelle Whitaker. Let me know if there's anyone else who's popped on that I did not get to yet. Okay. Taking another sip. All right. So this is going to be an animal card for Bridget. What does Spirit want you to know during this new moon eclipse? This is really the time to solidify our intentions, illuminate hidden agreements, let them go. Which animal can offer their medicine to you to help you with this process? Perfect. Yes. One of my favorites. Hawk Spirit. Okay. Let Spirit be your guide. All right. Oracle message is: flying high above the landscape, the hawk sees both the big picture and the small details. Observe the rain and the pond as well as the cloud, and it doesn't miss anything. When Hawk Spirit arrives, you're called to pay close attention to messages from Spirit that can appear anywhere in any form. Most of our problems come when we ignore our inner intuition. Listen to your intuition and keep your eyes open for synchronicities, the meaningful coincidences. Hawk Spirit asks you not to dismiss the signs that Spirit is sending to guide you. Sometimes, okay, here's a hidden agreement. Sometimes you really want to strive for connection to another, but Spirit's saying, not with this person. and you're ignoring it and ignoring it and ignoring it, and you're trying to force the connection, well, then there's problems later, right? This is the intuition that Spirit's asking you to pay attention to. If you're saying, you know what, as much as you'd like to, maybe not with this, but there's this over here. Remember, if you fill up with what's not meant for you or what's crap, you won't be available for what Spirit has in store for you. Okay? Perhaps you hear a song on the radio with just the right lyric pertaining to your query, and you begin to notice uncanny billboards, license plates, or other places where repetitive numbers or words show up for you. And if you notice, pay attention to the animals that appear for you and connect with their symbolism. Spirit wants to communicate and reaches out again and again. When hawk spirit appears, it is a sign to listen. So I saw spotted hawk several times when I was driving my sons home to see their dad. And over Christmas and last month, we had significant issues. And I told myself, you know, in the back of my head, I was, you know, really thinking to myself, oh, I probably should take a better perspective on this. I need to take the high road. There's always two sides. I know I'm just kind of being forceful here because I was angry with my ex, the way he was behaving, you know, and there's two perspectives, right? And when we get locked into, you know, my side is more important than your side, then you don't see the big picture. Well, anyway, hawk came up for me quite a bit. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to have to take the high road here. And I did an inner clearing ceremony, a personal clearing ceremony, an uncrossing ceremony for my ex and my sons. And a couple days later, my ex texted me saying, I'd like to extend an olive branch to you, and let's work together more closely to take care of our kids. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, this is how Spirit works. Pay attention to the little messages coming to you. Okay? All right. That's all I think Spirit wants me to tell you on that. So, one last thought on the hawk for you. Okay. Just remember, when hawk appears, it is a sign to listen. That was for Bridget. Set that aside. Now we're going to do the new Isis cards for everybody else. Okay. Got quite a few here. Who's still on the oh, awesome. I'm so glad, Christy. And then Krista says, oh my God, that was so fantastic. I'm going to be listening. Good. Awesome. Thank you. I feel like this stuff comes through me because we all are like really needing this. And then Krista. Okay. All right. So who's still here? And I want to make sure you get your card live before I pull cards for people who can't be live. So just, you know, pop your head on me. I'm here. And then I'll pull your card first. Okay. So. Okay. So Christy. Julie. Okay. Anyone else? You're still here. Okay, Michelle and Anime. Okay. Perfect. And Krista. Okay, so I'm going to pull cards for Christy, Julie, Michelle, Anime, and Krista first. Okay? And then I will pull the cards for everyone who requested one of me who could not be live. All right. getting messages here from people. All right. Isis is really a very, I want to say, poetic. It just says the simplest things in the deepest way. I'm really enjoying these cards. You just get so much out of a single card. All right. So this one's for Christy, Julie, Michelle, Lewis, Anime, and Krista. Okay. So if you're not familiar with Isis, Isis is an Egyptian goddess, and Mary Magdalene was thought to be an Isis priestess. She's an ancient lineage. She's the mother of Horus, and really the energy of Isis is really needed at this time to help balance out the divine feminine. So for Christy, Mother of Life. Look how beautiful these cards are. Nourishment of the Golden Grain Mother. There we go. Are you in exhausted mother energy? We can sometimes fall into existing and doing rather than truly living. This is asking you to get rid of what you don't want to fill up with what you really do want. We only know that this has happened when suddenly our life seems dry, depleted, filled with tasks, or it feels like we're stuck in a rut or habit that may have been comfortable but is becoming stifling and suppressing. This is that theme. Do something. Pick your habits out of self-nourishment, not self-discipline. Get rid of a lot of shoulds. If your whole schedule is full of obligations that make you dread them, it's time to let go and fill them up with things that actually nourish you. Isis, the mother of life, holds the ability to restore even the most numb, resistant, and difficult circumstances and people back into life. She calls to you now, seeking to bestow gifts of life upon you. Gifts of life, there's more to life than being tired, drained, exhausted. There's joy, there's peace. It's precious space that you need to protect, right? Be bold and brave, open your arms and receive, all right? So Isis is known as the sustainer of life, able to restore, nourish, and bring to life that which has been cast aside or lost. Really call on Isis to help you sustain, restore, nourish this precious space in your life that's missing right now, whatever it is. But I suspect it's probably joy and pleasure because for many of us women, that's what's missing in our lives. So discomfort and unfamiliarity is where life is attempting to break through to you. You may feel like that's never going to happen. Like I'm just too busy. Nobody around me does what I need them to do. You know, you get to change. There's a hidden agreement. For example, if you're like, well, if I stop doing all the laundry, it's going to pile up to the sky and it won't get done. And you have this hidden agreement that the laundry is the thing that needs to get done. But let your hidden agreement be the thing that needs to get done this week is I feel good and have some pleasure and joy in my life. And the thing that needs to get done is to create space for this. So if the laundry doesn't get done, I let go of that hidden agreement, right? Let other people pick up the slack. If they decide, oh, my socks didn't get cleaned, well, guess what? Time for you to do your own socks because I'm busy taking care of me right now. So that's what we're talking about with hidden agreements. So life is calling on you to partake more so of her gifts of experience. This oracle brings encouragement and guidance for you to learn skills and practices that nourish you and your community. When mom, when me, when whoever feels more nourished, we have so much more to give, right? The Mother of Life Oracle also asks for patience. In the same way that there is a growth cycle required before a child can become an adult, it takes some patience to learn this concept, okay? People around you will adjust. You'll have to adjust. It just takes time to learn to rebuild an energetic container, okay? So, an invocation to the Mother of Life. You can say this invocation, this call to the Divine Mother of Life, to finish any kind of ritual that you have to get into this space. I call to the Blessed Mother of Life. Gift me with boldness, courage, and love. Help me let go of the past. Help me surrender the ways I have shrunk back from life to protect and hide parts of me that were hard to deal with. Let me know the fullness of life, love, and acceptance of myself and others. Let me just be with you without pretense or hiding. Help me grow joyfully and be myself in the world. I accept your help in unconditional love now. Life flows through me full and unique. Aren't these awesome cards? I love these cards. All right, one more sip here. That was for Christy. Now for Julie. Lady of the Stars. Priestess of Sirius. Sirius the dog star, right? So, Sirius is a celestial goddess, a star of unconditional love and wisdom at an extremely high vibration. It brings deep soul awakening, spiritual gifts, and a high capacity for divine service. You have some divine service that is being requested of you. Lady of the Stars is also an empowerment of all other oracles in this deck. She tells you to pay attention because something significant is taking place right now. You're going through a very powerful transition right now, okay? Sirian energy takes the inner path of a spiritual healing journey into a whole new stratosphere, okay? It's time to really dig deep. It is wise, ancient, and an extremely high vibrational energy. It takes a certain level of soul evolution to be able to consciously register Sirian light and transmit it on this planet. The heart in question must be able to consciously cultivate unconditional love for it to occur. Okay, you gotta get into this unconditional love space. And really, all the things that you're doing should be in support of this right now. Okay. Goddess Sirius, through her priestess lady Isis, is reaching to you now. She has offerings of great spiritual support and a message that there's something significant that you need to be aware of in your life right now. Only you know what that is, okay? But it's been coming up for you. You know it. It's been blowing up in your face. And this is your sign. Here's your sign. It's time to do it, okay? Here's an incantation. You can say this incantation to bring forth the blessings of Sirius. If you have a child that is having disturbed sleep or nightmares, saying this incantation over their bed on their behalf as they go to sleep 3 times with peace in your heart will call in spiritual protection. Sirius, beacon of unconditional love, the heart of the goddess shining above, your deepest peace and wisdom wild, I call you now as your beloved star child. Let me rise above forgetfulness and fear, help my true nature to be strong and clear, so that no matter what seems to be, I am anchored within divinity. Nothing distracts me from my true face, shining bright with endless peace and grace. So, got some Sirius, the dog star energy going on. You want to look up the people of Sirius. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they believe that the Mayans came from Sirius, or is that the Pleiadians? Anyways, look up some star nations. There's quite a few ideas of where they come from, but Sirius is a very powerful star in a star constellation, and there's a book, or not a book, a series called Ancient Civilizations on Gaia TV, and they talk all about how Sirius and the pyramids are somehow aligned with the constellation where Sirius is. So neat stuff. You might want to check that out. Message from Isis there, the goddess of Egypt, right? All right, that was for Julie. Now this is for Michelle Lewis. Eye of Horus, awakening divine perception. Horus is Isis's son. There's a story here that Osiris was killed and Isis was able to bring her dead husband, lover, back to life so that he could help father her child, Horus. Horus, if you look at, there's another great documentary on Netflix called Zeitgeist, and I think it's Zeitgeist, Zeitgeist. It talks all about the parallels of Horus with Christianity, and it's really just kind of disturbing when you look at how they've borrowed many parallels in mythology from the religion of Horus the man and Jesus Christ. So check that out. All right. The Eye of Horus brings divine perception, protection, and insight. You're gifted with certain spiritual abilities, including divine sight, that are awakening and growing now. This is asking you to really hone these gifts, okay? You can have much divine support and protection so that you may grow your abilities and serve others with your divine gifts. Trust your perception and know that you're divinely protected. You don't have to do everything by yourself, okay? Definitely call upon those that have gone before you, the ancient ancestors, the well ones, people like Horus to help you. Looks like I have quite a few comments here. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, Chris. No, I'll get you a card, too. Yeah, Christy says, co-parenting with a narcissist, so when kids come home, it is a huge struggle. Girlfriend, my ex-husband is a narcissist, and it took me forever to really admit that. When you get so involved in the dance with a narcissist, that's drama. That's drama. Because it's crazy making nonsense. And that's what you're feeling. That's carbon monoxide. Get rid of that. Get rid of the dance. So, oh, you're welcome, Julie. Okay, so back to Michelle's reading. Eye of Horus. The Oracle of the Eye of Horus is a stamp of divine encouragement, approval, and protection. If you have been wondering about your divine path, about whether you have genuine gifts of healing and insight to share, about whether your inner perception is actually true insight, and whether you will be protected spiritually in certain matters or situations, then this oracle is confirmation for you. Okay? Sometimes we have a lot of stuff in our lives blow up and cause pain for us so that we can see what our true purpose is. Or we can see what we're yearning for because we're not able to get to it. Okay? And you may have a yearning for this deeper, meaningful spirit work in your life, and you've had some instances that have prevented you from living the spiritual life, but take little steps, start adding things into your life, and it will come to you. Let spirit guide you. Let it be some weird thing like, you know what, for whatever reason, I decided I want to cancel going to bingo on Sundays. So now I'm available for Christina's card reading. You know, little things, little instances of being inspired to do something. You know, maybe I'd like to drive home this way. And you see like a new grocery store there that you want to go and check out, and it's like full of new foods you want to try, which will lead you to something else. Just trust spiritual inspiration, okay? You can expect these gifts to grow, and as a result, to see with even more detachment, accuracy, and clear knowing. It is important that you trust this inner sight and come from your heart. This will ensure that your sight is accurate and helpful. Inner sight will never judge or harm another, okay? But it will certainly help you discern the underlying truth of situations and relationships so that you can make wise decisions. It may help you have a powerful new view of people who've wronged you, you'll have less judgment and anger of them, which fills you up with your crap, and you aren't able to fill up with that peace and love and acceptance after you feel wronged by that person. So really, it's this spiritual divine gifts is giving you tools to show you how to empty out all the crap and fill up with what you want, right? Okay, so now let's do the incantation of the Eye of Horus. Eye of Horus, Eye of the Sun, let my divine vision fully come. I call upon your protection divine. May my gifts awaken in service and shine. Help me see through your eyes so bright. Beloved Horus, Lord of light, I see accurately without distortion or fear. I am gifted with vision pure and clear. All right. That was for Michelle. So now we have a card for Anime. Blessings from the Divine Empress of the Skies, Queen of Heaven. The Queen of Heaven, the Divine Empress of the Skies, acknowledges your feminine authority now. As a man or a woman, you have a life path of spiritual leadership to bring qualities of mercy, compassion, and wisdom into the world. You're being asked to shed light on the Divine Feminine. This is a goal for you to bring balance here in your life and to the people around you. The Oracle of the Queen of Heaven is a confirmation of your feminine leadership and spiritual authority, whether in male or female body this lifetime. Isis means throne, and in her presence and blessing as Divine Empress of the Skies, she offers initiates of the light, men and women, great feminine spiritual power. You're part of this movement of bringing in the sacred feminine to help balance out the divine masculine. So this is a very important role right now. We're part of helping create this new paradigm. And when you embody the divine feminine, the sacred feminine, and teach that to others, you're part of this process. You're part of the up-leveling. You're part of the ascension. Okay, so Isis, Queen of Heaven, calls you to ascend to the throne of feminine leadership within your own being, that you may fulfill your life mission and serve the divine feminine on this planet from a place of inner spiritual authority. So here's your incantation for a blessing from the Queen of Heaven. Empress of the skies, heavenly queen, beloved Isis, my heart is keen, from darkness and fear to be released, to connect with my power in deepest peace. I like that. To connect with my power in deepest peace. Bless me that this may be so, in accordance with heaven's plan that I grow. Beloved queen, clothe me in your authority and light. I now claim my spiritual birthright. That's for Anime. All right. Yes. Narcissists are quite the buzzword lately, but we see that pattern of personality disturbance in our collective. Frankly, we have a narcissistic collective, and to break out of that, to assume that others think and feel like we do, is sort of not serving us. So we need to be discerning and notice when someone does not think like we do. The empath, the love of others, the desire to, marry the sacred divine. It's a lifelong learning lesson. Let's just say that. So hang in there. All right. This is for Krista. Power over 7 scorpions. Speaking of, power to conjure lower vibrational forces. That's curious. I think that there's a saying, calm seas does not make a good sailor, right? So if you are always up here in airy fairyland and never dealing with lower vibrational energy, are you really a powerful being? I mean, you always are, but are you testing your mettle? You know what I'm saying? I feel like God set me here to put me in the midst of criminals and you know, very low vibrational energy, working with, you know, in the sheriff's office, and yet at the same time to shine light on it, because the lower vibrations are what need the light the most, right? You know, in the Bible they talk about, you know, people criticize Jesus for hanging out with the lepers and the tax collectors, but he said they're the ones that need me the most. And so yes, this ability to conjure lower vibrational forces. This is for Krista. You're being initiated into the magic of conjuring to have power to affect lower vibrational forces through your own will and spoken word. You're guided to use this powerful gift with compassion and discernment, with mercy and non-judgment. You can then manage any toxicity in your life swiftly and with great effect. This is saying it's time for you to not just live in like airy fairyland. It's, you know, you're powerful enough to address toxic forces in your life. The Lady Isis teaches the art of conjuring, of being able to use will and word to gain dominion over lower vibrational energies. You get to say, be gone, get out, I don't want you here. I had a really powerful dream, not last night, but the night before, where like I felt like I dream about the presence of like entities, you know, ghosts, entity attachments. And when these entity attachments are most attracted to the light, right? Like moths to a flame. The more powerful you become, the more likely you are to attract maybe some lower vibrational energies and to test you, to see if you really are in integrity of the whole. There's no hole in your whole, the whole being, where they can get in. And that's what you're being asked to do. Okay. Yeah. The narcissist is part of that. The narcissist personality disturbance is an entity attachment. It's kind of like someone who's an addict. Someone with a personality disturbance, they've allowed this shallowness to take over them, to keep them from appreciating the whole, from appreciating that they are one with others. Because a narcissist just looks at people as sources, right? They don't have, they're so disconnected from their divine self that within them, they can't source themselves. And so they use others as sources. So that said, that's lower vibrational energy. Maybe you're coming in contact with these narcissists or entity attachments because you're being asked. The only way you will learn protecting the self, boundaries, is through being in contact with someone who wants to violate those boundaries, right? So you are guided to become aware of the power of your words and to realize that they are becoming very effective as a healing instrument, okay? The lady was able to cause the poison of 7 scorpions to yield to her healing intent by naming them and dominating their poison. Call people on their shit. That's what this is saying. She did so out of compassion to save the life of a young boy. They're talking about a certain story with Isis where she conjured the power of 7 scorpions. In this story lies the mystery of her conjuring art that is awakening in you. To name the poison requires careful and clear assessment. You get to be discerning. You get to point out where someone's being dishonest with you, where they're being dishonest with themselves. And a lot of people are afraid of confrontation because they don't want to poke the bear. They don't want to wake the dragon. They're afraid they're going to get swallowed whole. And a narcissist is definitely someone who preys upon someone who's afraid of that. They can't live on someone who does not allow their life force to be available, right? So you get to decide that your life force is no longer available to be a source for this parasite, basically. And you get to conjure your own protection. You get to conjure what your spirit is saying, I need to help me detach from and no longer be available for this relationship, this situation, this type of energy. Because I'm going to move on, and I'm not going to move on to the same exact type of scenario. If you stay curious, detached, and compassionate, your perception and ability to wield the power that comes with the ability to accurately name something will increase. You're going to become very discerning and able to say, nope, that's exactly what you're doing right now. You're trying to manipulate me. When you're putting me down, when you're trying to take away my sense of self, I know what you're doing. I'm not going to fall, prey to that. This is you projecting this crap on me. That's what this is asking you to do. Okay. Over any poison, big or small, I can heal and repair. Yes. Over any poison, big or small, I can heal and repair. My words have power over all. I do not entertain despair. I name the truth within and around me with deep compassion and clarity. The pain of life bothers me no longer. I exercise with love my power to conjure. That's for Krista. All right. I'm looking at what else I need to pull a card for. Okay. Did one for Christy. And about Kimberly. And then I got ones for Maury. Okay. All right. Just doing some housekeeping here. Let me see. Yes, addictions, endless circle. Yes. When we talk about entity attachments, they can be energetic. They can be, excuse me as I fix my lovely hair. I think I'm going in the wrong direction here. There we go. It's bothering me. Entity attachments are energetic or physical in nature. Our culture has many of them. They want us to be distracted. They want us to be filled up to here with what we don't need, what we don't want, which is toxic to us, that keeps us distracted in drama, disempowered, because a fully powerful being, spiritual being, is threatening to the status quo, right? It's threatening. But why? Why is that threatening? That is the question. Because they have some hidden agreements. Okay, one thing about narcissist abuse, you'll question everything. You'll question who you really are, but just remember, that is evidence that there's nothing wrong with you. That's evidence of their poison, okay? It's time to disengage from the gaslighting, the emotional damage, the drama, the crazy making nonsense. Anytime you want to assert yourself, the controlling, get rid of them. Ask yourself why you're available for that, okay? What about you put you in a position where you felt like you had to engage in a hidden agreement with them? Yeah, I'm going to be available for this nonsense. No judgment, just total compassion, total discernment. This is the part of me that needed this lesson. What part of me needed this lesson? Okay. I'm going to pull a card for Chris, Maury, Michelle Whitaker, and Kimberly. And is there anyone else still on that I did not pull a card for? Let me know. This is for Chris. Ancient Power Mysteries. Hear the rattle of Isis playing. Wow. The rattle of Isis, the sistrum, is playing in the hand of the goddess now. Can you sense it with your inner hearing? Its vibration reaches through your crown chakra and enters your body, initiating you into great ancient power mysteries of sound, creativity, and healing. This is a time when words and music will become increasingly important on your spiritual path and healing journey. Words and music. I think it's time for you to really bring about your gifts of self-expression. When the Lady Isis initiates a beloved into her ancient mysteries, life can become quite interesting. An initiate of Isis does not just learn new ideas as a student, but is thrown into the experience of the mysteries in real day-to-day living so that they may be truly mastered in our lives and then utilized in service to help the lives of others too. So that one day all beings will be healed and whole according to the will of the Divine Feminine. That's what the goal is for this year, to be healed and whole, right? So you're guided to use words that reflect the experience you would like to create in your life. Remember, this is basically saying create habits out of self-nourishment. And what is the hidden agreement? You want to do XYZ because you think it will make you feel ABC. Well, how about you just focus on feeling ABC instead of worrying about doing XYZ? Just feel the feeling of what you're hoping all these other habits are going to create for you. Okay? The Oracle guides you to honor the power of your voice, whether through spoken or sung words, and in what you write, speak about, or stand for symbolically. So writing is going to be very powerful for you this year. Okay? Often initiates don't realize where they are not conscious until thrown into initiation, which helps us become more aware and grow. It can be confronting to become aware of issues that need healing within us. So something may come up for you, and it's time for you to use writing and gifts of self-expression to help you heal. Okay? All right. The Sistrum Incantation. Thrum, thrum, Sistrum of Isis, Sistrum of Isis. My energy clear, I am love beyond fear, light within, light without. I am peace beyond all doubt. Thrum, thrum, Sistrum of Isis, Sistrum of Isis, Sistrum of Isis. Your light shines through my voice, your sound heals through my voice. Thrum, thrum, Sistrum of Isis, Sistrum of Isis. Nice. Sound and words. Sound and words. Okay, this next card is from Maury. I'm going to tag her in this. She'll let me. I don't know why it's not letting me. Okay. High Priestess. Mysteries revealed in the eyes of Isis. High Priestess. Beloved Isis gazes upon you now, and behind her vast eyes, mysteries are unveiled. A new clarity around your direction is unfolding. Be willing to wait for the full reveal, but also recognize what is happening at this time. You will be gaining a valuable insight into where you are being led and for what purpose. It is an exciting moment in your unfoldment. Have reverence and an open heart and mind, and wait patiently for the grand revelation that is on its way. Currently, you're being offered assistance in unveiling your divine destiny. You will be shown your purpose in a broader and more meaningful way than ever before. You can expect to have many aha moments where your life experiences and journeys suddenly make sense from a much bigger perspective, helping you understand how everything that you've gone through has brought you to where you are today, which in turn helps you trust even more where you're being led. You may have had some hardships. You may have been in a very hardworking place, but this space, whatever space you were in that the hardship created, was to bring certain energy into your life, so to prepare you for where you need to go, okay? You're guided to trust in the reveal, whether it seems preposterously magnificent or you have no idea how it could possibly all happen. It doesn't matter. Trust that it's going to unfold. The divine mysteries of the universe are going to take care of it. This oracle is also an indication that if something completely unfathomable, bizarre, or strange is happening right now, provided you feel love in your heart, trust it. It is the hand of the divine guiding you, and you just don't know enough of what is happening in the bigger picture yet to make sense of the situation. But you will in time, and possibly much sooner than you realize. So, here's your incantation. In dream, in thought direct, in awareness, and in bodily sense, I now receive the mystery unveiled. I am not denied any detail. I receive this now with comprehension clear for Priestess Isis, who holds me dear. That was for Maury. And now for Michelle Whitaker. Speaking of the dark mysteries, wow. Here we go. Enter the chamber of the Dark Goddess. This is for Michelle Whitaker. The Dark Goddess calls you to her inner chamber where she holds a test and a gift for you. The test is your willingness to meet and release the fears within that have been secretly holding you back. The gift is freedom, peace, opportunity, and prosperity in all its forms. Will you accept her call? Your time for deeper initiation is here. Let's see what we got. Some comments here. Oh, you're welcome, Chris. Okay. When the Dark Goddess calls you, it is a life-changing experience. It is not always easy, but the rewards for those brave enough to answer her call and enter her inner chamber are tremendous indeed. The rewards are life lived more fearlessly, the gift of loving and being just who you are in truth without having to impress or bow to another out of fear of rejection. Remember we were talking earlier in our hidden agreements. It's time to be honest with yourself and honest with others. And if someone's not being honest with you or themselves, then you get to lead. The dark mysteries are being revealed to you, okay? It takes a strong soul to go through this test and into the liberation it delivers, but you're ready. You're ready, dear initiate of light. So, you may have a little bit of a dark night of the soul, but the shadow element that needs integration when the Dark Goddess is present is power in some form or another. This shadow self, this lesson, is a piece of you coming into personal empowerment. So just remember that. This is what Isis, as the Dark Goddess, teaches us. not to be afraid to go into the dark places and the difficult feelings with it. Okay, you got some difficult feelings you need to process and move forward with. Get rid of the crap you don't want so that you have room for the new. You can't say, well, I'm just going to ignore them and stuff them down because you're still full of them, right? And you can't understand why you only have this much space for true joy because you haven't really processed the darkness, right? Time to let it up and out. Acknowledge it. Move it forward. Get it out of your body. Okay, so this incantation can be repeated several times. The incantation of the Dark Goddess. Sublime Isis, dark and sweet, through you my hidden self I meet. I honor this self and accept. No longer do I fear, shame, or reject. You gift me with my self complete. Sublime Isis, dark and sweet. So, know your shadow self. And this is an important time to know the shadow self, especially coming up between now and the lunar eclipse, which is all about the hidden subconscious. That's January 21st. So this period of time, it's really, the veil is really thin to get to the place of what you really need to know. So, all right, that was for Michelle. All right, and this last card is for Kimberly. Divine Sun Child. Blessings of the Sun Falcon, the Divine Sun Child, Horus, son of Isis and Osiris, flow to you now, beloved initiate. It is time to allow your life to flourish without limits, to let your light burn bright and without veil, just like the midsummer sun burning without contest in the Egyptian desert. Blessings of the Sun Falcon herald the time when your divine legacy is being born. It is your time to burn bright. So, maybe 2018 was a time of heavy work, but now it's time to be whole. It's time to be in a place of beyond the bitter end, like we were talking about. Where are you? Where you fully self-actualized, where you're fully living in your gifts, you're fully peaceful, powerful, in innermost joy. This is your goal. It's your goal. Divine Sun Child is telling you that. Okay. It's also a metaphor for our inner world. Our divine feminine must stay true to her values of love, healing, and the triumph of creativity over destruction born of fear and hate. That's going to be a challenge this year. Lots of toxic masculinity. That's all about destruction due to fear and hate. And that's within us too. We have toxic masculinity within us. It's not like, oh, hate men, women are better. None of that. Okay. This is all about marriage of the divine feminine and masculine. And she must never give up her belief in her ideals, which is that the sacred union is the ultimate goal. Our divine feminine is our body, whether man or woman, our inner values and the ideals that make our hearts beat stronger and feel right within our belly. You're asked to get in your body, to feel joy in your body. Embodiment is a very feminine process, okay? Think about what happens during pregnancy, right? We're the thing that allows spirit to come into our physical body and to produce a physical child, evidence of the divine union, right? So I'm not saying you're going to have another baby this year, but get into divine embodiment. I don't know, maybe you will have another baby. You're like, I don't know, maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Let me know what you're thinking. So, incantation to the Sun Falcon. Okay. You can use this incantation as a blessing prayer at any time you need some divine creative assistance. Horus, Falcon of the Golden Sun, my creative energies have begun to shine bright and strong, help my creative projects along to fulfillment and completion pure with your will and light so sure. Horus, Falcon of the Golden Sun, my successes and winnings now come. That was for Kimberly. And thank you for staying on. It seemed like an extra long session. 2 hours, really, 2 hours and 11 minutes. Enjoy this period of the partial solar eclipse into the lunar eclipse, which is the full moon on January 21st. So just relax into it. Let the divine reveal what it needs to. And in the meantime, set some powerful intentions. Okay? So until I see y'all on the 21st, I've got some more stuff coming up. I started a podcast. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I have a podcast, and I'll be interviewing a few people for it. I'll be talking more about some of this divine union stuff, certain ways that we can, do some guided meditations and tools to help embody ourselves and get trauma out of our body, to get rid of what we don't want, to get rid of the carbon monoxide and fill up with what we do want, which is pure oxygen, to do things from a place of self-nourishment instead of self-discipline, and to really commit to this Capricorn Cancer axis, which is the balance of creating new habits out of self-nourishment, or really balancing work and responsibility with self-nourishment and care. So stay tuned. I got a lot coming up, and I'm glad y'all still stayed with me this long. I'm kind of losing my voice at this point, but thanks for being here. Much love to you. Bye for now.